So let's talk about Sartre. Sartre is not one of my favorite philosophers, although existentialism is certainly an interesting concept and does provide a little bit of a break from some of the other philosophies. It does put people first. It puts the importance of a person first, and that's very important. I do think some philosophies that turn us into sort of self-effacing people who, are living only for other people. Existentialism maybe takes it a little bit too far the other way, yeah? But let's talk existentialism and Sartre. So what we talked about with Kierkegaard is that in Kierkegaard's view, right, we are responsible, we are agents of our own lives, we do our own things, and according to Kierkegaard as well, right, that particular agency also comes with life stages, right? You got your aesthetic stage where you're sort of a selfish person, your ethical stage where you're living sort of for other people, and your religious stage where you finally decided to believe in the concept of a God, right? So Sartre does not take that last step, right? And he doesn't really even talk that much about the first two, although his philosophy is still very focused on our responsibility towards other people. So for Sartre, the very first thing people talk about when they talk about him is the idea that he's said existentialism means that existence precedes essence, right? So what does that mean in a nutshell? Existence precedes essence. Well, it basically means you have to exist before you can be judged and before you can be even not judged, but just defined, right? That, he makes this difference. He talks about a paper cutter, right? Which is not a great idea. Let's use, in fact, instead of a paper cutter, do I have anything around here? Sure, a pen, right? So, when we talk about a pen, pens are made in factories in general, right? And nobody makes a pen without knowing what it's going to be, right? You don't have people at factories simply turning machines on, setting dials, putting in materials, and then suddenly saying, oh, wow, look at that, it made this thing, I wonder what it is, and then trying to figure out what it is. That's not the way factories work, right? We make things that we understand what they're going to be, what their function's going to be, how they're going to be used. Sartre says that we cannot see the human race in the same way. We are born, and nobody knows what we are going to become, right? We are not made for a specific purpose. We are made, and then we define ourselves. Now, in general, he would say that solves a lot of problems, right? That because we are given that agency, we are born, but then we define ourselves, we get to decide what we do with the life that we've got. And yes, there are responsibilities that we've got towards other people. We can't be a jerk to other people. We are responsible for all of our decisions. Everything that we do, we should be doing with the idea that if everybody else did the same exact thing that we were doing, we'd be fine with that. We'd be okay with that, right? And we will talk about this actually in the next video, that idea of responsibility. But the idea of existence precedes essence is very simple, right? You have to exist before you can be defined and before people can judge you for what you're doing. But they will judge you. Once you have been born, once you start doing stuff, the world is open to critique. The world is open to judgment, right? But overall, existentialism starts with that concept, very much like Soren Kierkegaard's concept of we exist, we have agency, and we are not defined at birth. We are defined after we have started doing stuff. Now, what we do with that life, much more complicated. That's what we're going to get to, of course, in the next video. But existence precedes essence? Well, you are. Now, what are you going to become? All right, see you in a few.